Something that Motorola has done a bit of work on is the built-in music player, and it will actually recommend different songs and stations and videos for you. As you can see, you can scroll through the different recommendations in this neat little carousel feature here, and it of course will play any music that you load on it from your computer. But you can preview a song. Let's see that one before listening to it, and it gives you the option to buy it through Amazon. You can see it gets rather loud. Pretty neat feature, and the carousel mode is pretty cool. We see this reflected throughout much of Motorola's custom apps on the Photon, including the gallery app, which we'll take a look at a little bit later. Something that also is very cool is if you pop open the kickstand, let's get that open, it gives you the option to launch a special interface called the widget clock, which offers a kind of a bedtime clock with different widgets that you can customize and shortcuts here, so you can load up different shortcuts and apps and stuff. Gives you weather information, things like that. Pretty cool. Or you could back out of it if you'd like and go right to a landscape view of the home screen. Taking a look at the built-in email application Motorola has provided. It's a pretty sparse-looking application. Doesn't have a whole lot of eye candy and such going on, but it does give you the options to manage multiple messages at the same time. You can have multiple inboxes running at the same time, which is pretty cool. If you open an image, you can view formatted text, which also gives you the option to double tap to zoom. And you can also pinch to zoom as well. Something that the Motorola email app features is push email services. So if your email service provides push, you can utilize it with the built-in email client, which is pretty nice to see. If we take a look at the camera application available on the Motorola Photon 4G, a couple different ways you can launch it. You can launch it with the camera icon there, or if you press the camera key for a second, it will launch the application. It does take a second to load or launch, a little bit longer than we would like to see. But there you go. So the application is pretty sparse as far as on-screen features go, but it does have things like geotagging built in. You can zoom in with the on-screen buttons, or you can use the volume rocker to zoom in as well. We hit this little arrow over here, we can open up a couple different options. There's different scene modes that you can choose for your pictures: portrait, landscape, sports, nighttime, sunset, macro, and a steady shot picture. So many of the modes that you normally see on a standard point and shoot camera. You can also add a couple different effects between normal, black and white, negative, and sepia, and solarize. Not quite as many as you'd see on, say, an HTC device, but there are a few there right there. And you can control the flash. You can switch between the rear camera, which is the 8 megapixel unit, and the front-facing VGA cam. So there you go, you can do self-portraits. Now the camera, it can be triggered by the camera shutter button, or you can use the on-screen key here. If you use the on-screen key, you can tap and hold the autofocus, and if you don't want to take the picture, you can slide your finger off. However, if you use the camera key up top, if you press the button, it will go ahead and take the picture. It will not pause after autofocusing. So if you push the button, it takes the picture. Whereas if you use the on-screen key, you can autofocus and recompose. We take a look at the pictures in the gallery here. We can pinch to zoom on them like so. Pinch to zoom isn't quite as smooth as we would like to see on this. Some phones do it much smoother. You can also rotate it by dragging 2 fingers. And you can swipe between the pictures that you have available. Double tapping will zoom you in full scale there. If we take a look at the video recorder, can record in 720p video, but it does not autofocus. You can start recording video with the red button on screen there, or if you hit the shutter key here, and that will start recording the video. While you're recording the video, you can zoom in, which is cool. So you can zoom while recording, which is unique, and you can also mute while you're recording as well. And then you can play that back. That will start recording the video. While you're recording the video, you can zoom in, which is cool. So you can zoom while recording, which is unique, and you can also mute while you're recording as well. Now if we go back to our main gallery application, you can see a few different things in the gallery application. You've got your friends' photos from Facebook, which is pretty cool, and you can scroll through them in this kind of carousel. And you can also comment and like directly right there. Or if you hit the camera roll, you can view the pictures that you've taken on your camera. But you do lose that fun gallery, that fun carousel view. You do have the option to comment or like on a photo in this mode as long as it's been uploaded to a social network. So there you have it. That's a Motorola Photon 4G for Sprint. This is Motorola's first high-end device to come out for Sprint for a long time. It's also Motorola's first WiMAX device to come out for Sprint. And it's another first. It's the first WiMAX device on Sprint that also features a global GSM radio. So it's got a lot of firsts going on for it. Just as a quick recap, you've got a 4.3-inch QHD screen with 540 by 960 pixels of resolution. You've got a very fast 1 GHz dual-core NVIDIA Tegra 2 processor with 1 GB of RAM, so you got a lot of RAM to play with. Built in, you've got 16 GB of internal storage, 3 GB of which you can use towards applications, and it supports micro SD cards up to 32 GB in capacity. It's running Android 2.3.4 Gingerbread with Motorola's custom interface on it, as you can see here. And it's got an 8 megapixel camera on the back with autofocus and a flash, and it records 720p video. In addition, it's also got a kickstand on the back, and it's compatible with an HD accessory dock, so you can plug it into an HD TV and utilize the web top function, which acts like a full-blown computer. But that's a quick recap of the Motorola Photon 4G. This is Dan Seifert from MobileBurn.com. Thanks, guys.